Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Yep, it's been a while since we've actually had the opportunity to give the Crash Bros a little bit of a smack. So that was and yeah, look at my horrible, absolutely horrible thumbnail. Yeah, because I did that myself. So is what it is. But the message remains the same. As we always try and talk about, we always try and talk about how we create value, the fact that this, real estate investing isn't easy. Crash bro, crash bro, crash bro. Oh, you're gonna get crushed. Oh, look at the direction the economy's going. Oh, it's so bad. Blah, blah, blah. And 16 million buildings fewer in the last decade were built than what has been averaged for 6 decades. Supply and demand. I've been telling people for the last year and a half, the best asset that you can buy, small multifamily. Why? Because you're not relying on one income like you would on a single family house. Now, single family houses work all over the country. No doubt it works. I get it. Fine. Small multifamily is better. It's just better. Why? Because the premium that you're paying in most markets for that additional unit, for those additional units, pales in comparison. We talk about it all the time in my course. We talk about it all the time in my boot camp, literally all the time. $400,000 house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. $500,000 duplex, 2 3-bedrooms and 1 bath. The difference is that 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is renting for $3,000 in my area. You know what the 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit rents for in the duplex? $2,600. $2,600. Would you rather have $3,000 or $2,600 times 2? The reason I'm so amped up about this is because the Crash Bros don't understand how markets work. You guys are out of your depth. You're completely clueless. See me in a year. I know 2 years ago it was, we'll see where it is in a year, crushing. 2 years later, we'll see where it is in a year, crushing. Next year, yeah, I'm going to be crushing then too. Do you know why? Because you can't fight the Fed and money. It's money. Let's explain this further. This week, they came out with it. This is how winners and losers are made, guys. It's policies. What's the policy that came out this week? 5% down on 2s, 3s, and 4s now. 2, 3, and 4 unit buildings, 2, 3, and 4 unit buildings, 5% down. You think you can still get a construction loan on those things? Do you think you can still get a 203K loan on those things? You can. You can. You can. When the government sees that the market is shifting in a direction that they don't want, what do? They start changing the rules. You can count on it every single time. They change the rules of the game. That's how it works. They change the rules of the game. Now 5% down can buy you 2, 3, or 4. How did I make $3 million? Pretty easy. Because now all of my multis, 2s, 3s, and 4s, are worth a whole lot more. Across my portfolio, every single one of them went up overnight with this program, because it now no longer takes a pool of buyers that's this big with 20% down. Now I've got a pool of buyers this big with 5% down. I'm telling you, in the next 2 years, people buying houses are going to be mocked by people that bought 2, 3, and 4 unit multifamily, because they're going to say, yeah, my cost of living is almost nothing. Oh, well, being a landlord, I mean, you just completely give up your life. Not if you take the Lumberjack Landlords course. You don't. I teach you how to have a life. I teach you to build a business as big as you want to build it. More importantly, profitably. We're not banking on appreciation here. That's why, yeah. So I made $3 million overnight. Oh, Crash Bro can say that. Unless they had a video go viral. And even then, they made what, $300 overnight, $3,000 overnight, BFD. Guys, real estate investing, if this is what you want to get into, this is what I'm elite at. The fact of the matter is 5% down on 2, 3, and 4 unit buildings is a complete and total game changer. If you were doing the things that I said starting 2 years ago, you just made 6 figures overnight because the pool of buyers is now massive. In 48 hours, we have had almost every multifamily in my markets go under agreement. Why? Because there's no sustainability rule either. It used to be you had to be 75% of the rents counting towards your income. Poof, gone. So when the crash bros want to sit there and teach you nothing, when they want to sit there and talk about fear this and fear that, it's good to have a healthy respect of understanding what's going on, but don't take it from a bunch of pinheads that don't know what the F they're talking about. Been right, solid 3 years since I broke my channel. In literally the next 2 months, 3-year anniversary for Lumberjack Landlord. If you were investing that way, you're in a great position. You actually probably have 3% or 3.5% debt. How's the 7.5% debt you're looking at right now? You feeling pretty good about that? Because that's what deals have to now go through. Now, do I have answers to that? Ask any of the people in my course. We sat down last night. We spent 2.5 hours building out rent boxes, showing people this is how you build out a rent box. This is how you make real money. This is how you absolutely turn dirt into gold. Guys, this can absolutely happen. Now, do it, don't do it. It's no difference to me, but I continue to do it time after time. At what point do the crash bros wake up and go, huh, maybe I was wrong? Keep chasing it, guys. Keep chasing it. Keep chasing it. And people have to do nothing to watch those garbage channels. They're just complete garbage. It's not affected. I see it in my market every single day. I see almost no supply. The stuff that goes on is overpriced, yet still finds a deal and still gets a deal done. How is that even possible? And now 5% multifamily, 5% on 2s, 3s, and 4s, 5%. Guys, this is another major game changer. If you were in the game, congratulations. If you weren't in the game, it's not too late to learn the craft, understand, skill up, and start searching for opportunities. I would be willing to bet you that every single person that was in my class last night now has more opportunities on their list than they did the day before. They might not because they haven't done the work yet. If they do the work today, they will find that they have more opportunities on their desk. Guys, we make our own futures. You know, those people, the victim mentality, the crash bro mentality. Well, you know, that's what the market's doing. That's what the market's doing. Weak. When you make a majority of your money from a YouTube channel, you know, that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. I do this time on Saturdays or Sundays because I love interacting with investors. I love having conversation with them, talking about my thoughts on the market. It's not advice. Do what I do. Don't do what I do. Whatever. It's not advice. This is what I do. This is how I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars. You know, this is how I do it. I've broken it down over a 22-year period. That's what my course is. 22-year period. I broke it down. Hey, systematically, this is how we go at it. These guys that were in my course last night, it was awesome for me. Why? Because I know I unlocked something for people. I unlocked something for people. They are going to go out and they're going to get a better deal, and they're going to really understand evaluation of assets better than any other investors in the market. There's no doubt in my mind. Any of you guys that were in the class last night, tell me if I was wrong. Tell me if I was wrong, but there is nothing but opportunity. Don't waste your time being told there's no chance for you to succeed. Yeah, you know what? You keep on listening to that junk. There is no chance for you to succeed because you're going to sit there and do nothing. You're going to sit there and do nothing. Action, do, go do. So yeah, I'm a little amped up about this. I hate the Crash Bros message. I think it absolutely sucks. And it just continues to be wrong because the government continues to create programs and policies that create pockets of winners for doers. Maybe that's what the Crash Bros don't get. They're not doers. Maybe that's what they don't understand. It's probably it. So, as I always say, I try and create great content for you. Most importantly, I just try and shoot it to you straight. Way it goes. You know what? My YouTube channel will never make any money. If it does, if it doesn't, I don't care. I don't need it. Here's what's most important. What's most important is that people hear from successful people. Yeah, that's me. Elite operators. Yep, still me. And that they can understand ways that they can create riches in their niches, and they will. That's just a fact. Okay, way it goes. So let's jump into some of the questions. Yeah, it was a long week. So I am so wicked tired, but I wouldn't miss this. Frank Contreras, you couldn't get enough, my man. Frank Contreras, one of the guys in the Lumberjack Landlord course in the boot camp last night. We went a full 3 hours. We spent 2.5 on rent boxes and then answering questions. REI Stoner is working on Sundays now, but I'll try to listen or catch it in Futureland. All good, REI. Good to have you here. Frank Contreras, again, awesome boot camp last night. Thank you. Awesome. Also think since you net 2,200 on the Red House, my guess was closet, so I shouldn't be fired. I'm telling you, guys, the stuff that we cover in those boot camps is awesome. We cover the stuff in the course, sure, but we also cover like what people are going through, what questions they have, problems that they're having in their market. And we talk through it. We talk through it with a group of other investors. You know, it's really kind of like a mini mastermind. It's awesome. It's just, I have so much fun doing it. I was so bummed when I couldn't do it last week. I was so unbelievably sick, but feeling better today. Good morning, Matt and everyone. Wealth Building Journey. Good morning. Corby, good to have you here, my friend. Stay safe outside the US. Also, I want a Celebrate Lumberjack on a shirt. Yeah, I had a bunch of those done, and I just really hardly ever use them because I don't really do thumbnails. But this one, I kind of wanted to squeeze and rub into some folks' faces because I'm just tired of their garbage. No one listening to them has saved money, gotten rich. No one, 0 people. No one has averted the disaster of buying a house. You know how many people I hear from that watch those clowns that have actually bought houses in the last year and regret the fact that they didn't buy 2 years ago? Hey, told you so. Told you so. Sorry. Hyder, good morning, my man. Hello, real estate moguls. 1 million billion. I like it. I don't know if I'll ever get to, I won't ever get to a billion. I've already resigned myself to that. Don't want to get to a billion. Not interested in having that be where the company goes. Not my thing. Not my thing. I'm very happy in the ballpark that I'm in. Wealth Building Journey, hit the like button. Thank you, sir. What's up, Millennial Mike? Good morning, gorgeous. How's that pretty face? I'm doing pretty well, Mike. Mike and I have both been so crazily busy. We're like ships passing in the night, you know, we're not getting divorced, Mike, but we're like ships passing the night, sending each other messages and like catching up to other like voice messages and stuff. Cause he's crushing it on his shorts. His shorts are absolutely awesome. Did a great series on his channel about Gary, Indiana with other investors. Absolutely awesome. But yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Dividend Dave, you're here now. Fantastic. We can start. Millennium Oak. Figured I'd just copy and paste my usual routines to one more person. Perfect. It's so gross. Just so long as I don't get the pics that other person gets, I'm good. Keep them to yourself, Michael. Laura, good morning, Laura Samaniego. Wealth Building Journey. Dave. Matt looking sexy with that in person. Thanks. Anna K, good morning. Good morning, Anna K. 1,000 is giving me competition. Yeah, I know, right? I know 1,000 million billion. Good job. Dishes every day. Hit the like button, guys. Hey, Dishes, thanks so much. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Hope you had a great time at that silver event. Those are the kind of events that when I retire, I definitely want to start going to. Just don't have the time, but I definitely want to start going to that sort of stuff. So I was super, super jealous you guys got to hang out there. Holy cow. I know, right? Absolutely. Regulations are for creating monopolies. Without a doubt, Hyder. And here's the thing. Hyder and I, you know, we've talked. We're on the same side, right? We're on the same side where it's like, I don't love government. Not saying that Hyder does or doesn't, but I'm not sitting there going, I love government. No, I understand it though. I understand it. They constantly make rules and changes to prop things up. Watch Dion talk financial freedom. Watch his channel. He tells you all about how the how all these different government entities came about and why they came about. It's there. They create entire departments and entitlement programs. They create all this stuff to prop up areas that they want to prop up. So does that mean the housing market was headed in the wrong direction? Yeah, I said that. I said we'd see a correction, not a crash, but I said we'd see a correction. Are we seeing corrections in some parts of the country? Yep, we absolutely are. 100%. We're seeing correction. We're seeing correction. We absolutely are seeing correction. However, crashes, anybody? Seeing crashes? Crashes? Anyone? Crashes? Nope. No crashes. And again, the idea is maybe it's single family, but what about small multi? That's what I talk about. That's what I care about. That's where I focus. I don't buy single family homes. They don't cash flow in my area. They just don't. So I buy 2s, 3s, and 4s because the value to cost ratio, it is redonkulous. I can buy one today with 8% money and still cash flow. I mean, even the stuff with how expensive it's priced now. But now, do you know what the limit is? It's about $1.4 million is the limit on this program, which means every multifamily in my state will qualify in all likelihood. I don't know that there's any expensive multifamilies in any area that are over 1.4. There might be some. There might be some on the ocean, but nothing here. Nothing in the normal areas. So, guys, and hey, guess what? If you were shopping in those markets, you better sharpen your pencil. You better get on it right now, because as that system starts to open up, people are going to start looking. They're going to find out, hey, we looked for 2 years for a single family house. Let's just do a duplex. Let's just do a duplex. Let's just do a house that has an ADU on it. They're going to find that stuff. I'm telling you. Invest to Wealth. Good morning. BuzzTune. Good morning. Hyder. Yep. Wealth Bending Journey. 5% down on 2s, 3s, and 4s. Yes, sir. Told you it was coming. Told you it was coming, and it came. I mean, get that another shot. And actually, let me just push this back. That's annoying. There we go. I have a new monitor setup coming. It's actually here. I just need time to open it. Frank Contreras. Eye-opening and mindset changing to see how you build your rent box. I don't give advice. I just share my experience. That's it. Do it. Don't do it. Like it. Don't like it. Don't care. Don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Like it. Don't like it. Doesn't matter. This is how I do it. This is what I do. And P.S. now I am rich, wealthy, whatever you want to call it. That's how I got there. Oh my goodness. Dividend Dave. Thanks so much for the $4.99. Hi, Matt. How long will this 5% thing last? If you know, P.S. we can start now. See, perfect. We can start now. They usually last for years. The problem that you're going to have is the market shifting. That's the problem you're going to have. There's going to be a market shift. You're going to see every 2, 3, and 4 get more expensive because the pool of buyers went like from this to this. Anytime you go from this to this and the supply is still this, guess what? It's going to get crazy. There's going to be people now that are going to list their properties because they know they can literally throw an extra $100,000 on there because there's no sustainability. It's not just an investor that's going to buy it. They can look at the rents. And P.S. if you guys aren't in my course and didn't take my rent box, ask any of the people that were there last night if it was absolutely game changing. Frank Contreras said it perfectly. Rent box practice starts today. Guys, this is a principle that no one else teaches. I literally showed these guys step by step by step exactly how to build a rent box, then evaluate the market, and then understand literally what the minimum pricing is that you'll get for that unit upwards to what your possible uplift might be. It is an absolute game changer. Game changer. I'd like to thank Howard. I'd like to thank Brandon, I like to thank those guys because they were the ones who said, hey, this exercise would be really helpful if we did this live. We did it live. It was awesome. It was awesome. I'm so pumped we did it live. In fact, that's what we're going to do moving forward in any of the boot camps. We're going to do those examples live because it's an absolute game changer for people. Dave P, dumb money. What's dumb money? Because there's probably dumb money, but what's dumb money? All night hider. Thanks, Dave. Yep. Crash Bros provide a kick of a kind of sick dopamine hit. Yeah, they do for sure. Angel R, thanks for the fire, my man. Good to have you here as always. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That's very true. It's very true. Frank Contreras, rent Brock's practice starts today. Yes, sir. Chris, good morning, Matt. I recently signed a lease with a tenant. Yep. I never explicitly asked them if they had any pets. My fault on that. Okay, sure. However, on their application, they never said they had any pets. Okay. They told me, and on the lease, it states no pets unless talking to me first. Checked in the apartment yesterday. I noticed that they have 2 dogs and a cat. What should I do? Send them a lease violation. If you're in the so Chris, I have a lot of Chris's. I apologize. If you're in the Lumberjack Landlord course, there is a document there of showing you how to basically do a lease violation. There is a document in the course. If you haven't done one, talk to your circle, look at, a local Facebook group, look at, hold on one second. Yeah. Yes. Great. Okay. Sorry, people in the field always working. So what I would do is I would lease violate them and then have the conversation and then just say, listen, 3 pets is a lot. The thing that you have to understand is that a lot of people can just get an ESA doc. Now, with an ESA doc in most states, they only allow you 1 ESA. So while you have to allow 1 pet, you don't have to allow 3. So it really depends. But if you want to start things off, I mean, yeah, admittedly, you missed some steps, but that's okay. Follow the application process that I lay out in my course. It's there. But yeah, you could give them a lease violation, and just say, hey, this is a lease violation. I don't allow pets. It says it right there in your lease and you signed that. It does say it in the lease, right? On the lease, it states no pet. Yeah, then that's it. Then that's something that they signed that they didn't pay attention to. And so you can go back and you can say, I charge a pet fee. That's why I say talk to me, is because we talk about, I need to know insurance. I need to have proof of insurance from you. It depends on how far you want to take it, in all honesty. But that's what I just lease violated somebody this week. Because that's how you got to do it. That's how you manage the process. And you know what? Within 4 hours of release violation, she sent me a text and apologized and said, I'll get it taken care of. Fantastic. It better be taken care of. Wealth building journey. Thank you, Divin and Dave. Yep. JNYC, morning, evening. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you very much. I'm glad I'm feeling better too. That was a bucket of suck. I gotta be honest. Let's see. Josh Coster, Matt brings value, and I know you will save me a lot of headache and money on my first deal. Josh, you're not wrong. There's no doubt in my mind that we will. Josh is really smart. So Josh, I won't say a lot, but he works in an industry where numbers matter and understanding what's going on matters. And I think that that's the real true thing that we have in this real estate investing market, is all that stuff matters, guys. It all matters, and it matters immensely. I think people often take real estate investing too lightly. and they see other people making money do it. They think it's something as simple as buying a house or getting a good deal or this, that, or the other. It just isn't any of those things. The reason my course is named, "Oh shit, I'm a landlord, now what?" is because you have no idea the 150 things that you've forgotten. You have no idea because you don't know. Even if you have a mentor, you still don't know. They're going to have, been doing it for so long, they will have forgotten things that they didn't remember were part of their journeys. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I kind of got you on that one." Guys, it's process. And that's what we do time after time after time. That's why my course works. It's why it works. And I make it inexpensive because it's not that it's not a lot of money. I make it inexpensive compared to the cost of the mistakes you're going to make. It's priced relatively. I'm going to be offended again. Yes, I'm going to offend you, Rob. And if not, go watch some Crash Bros. That's offensive. That stuff's offensive to me. I can't watch it. I literally, I am 9 months clean, 9 months clean on no Crash Bro videos. I can't even watch it. I don't want their perspective. I'm not interested. And the reason why I'm not interested is because they consistently remain wrong. I hear from my subscribers all the time. These guys are constantly wrong. You guys want to waste your time there? Fine. You're better off taking my course and learning how to build a rent box and make more money off your rentals. Period. Question on the product series. Okay. Is there a way to add product series to the course? Link to the course coming. Is there a way to add product series? So the reason I don't do extensive product series is because I insist on using the product for at least a year. So if you see me talking about a product, it's only for one reason. It's only because I use it. That's the only reason. And I've not used it for a month. I've used it for at least a year, where it's gone through a spring, it's gone through a summer, it's gone through a freezing cold winter. I recognize that when you pick the wrong product, sometimes it can be very, very, very expensive. So I share my experiences with these products only because I want to give you guys something that's been tried, tested, and true, because we don't try it on one unit. We try it on a handful of units, because some units have 5 people going in and out of them all day long. So that lock is going to get a lot more time on it than a 1-bedroom where it's, I leave in the morning, I come back at night, or I leave in the morning, come back at night, go to the gym, come back at night. Like, that thing's touched a couple times. On a lot of our properties, they're roommate situations. So it's 5, upwards of 6 people sometimes in these roommate situations. And that means that lock is 12 times a day just based on work. And then gyms, and then friends coming over, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that thing gets touched 20 times a day, which means that if I have those locks and they've lasted for a year or two, 20 times a day, that's going to get a lot more, it's going to get a lot more, it has a lot more, depth behind my recommending it versus something that's been on an apartment that's a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom that gets used a couple times a day. And that's what I want to do. I put the products through the paces. So that's why I haven't done a product one specifically for the course. However, if you're in the boot camp and you want to talk about products, I will do that for you, because I want the ability to share with you, this is what we use, this is where we use it, this is how long we used it for. And we can dialogue about it. That's why the videos make it tough, is because the videos can only be on items that I've used for over that period of time. And I can tell you exactly my experience, as opposed to question and dialogue back and forth. So that's why we won't probably put any in the course. But the big, big, big thing coming to the course is going to be my lead series. I can't put that on YouTube. I've got to put it on in the course. And so that is going to be an extensive series. That is likely going to be at least an hour, if not an hour and a half, that will be available in the general course. I'm not going to isolate it to boot camp. Now, in boot camp, we'll talk about more in detail, but I will get at least an hour worth of stuff in the course about the lead order and that whole entire process, so you guys know exactly what you're in for, and exactly why we handle ourselves the way that we do. Good stuff. Corby Carter, talking with my DC tenants tomorrow. They're interested in buying. VA loan assumption and seller financing is my plan. If we can come to an agreement, than going to get a duplex in OKC or two. I like that. I love that, Corby. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck. Good luck in that conversation, and do a deal that makes sense for you. And if it's time to move on from that asset, move on from that asset. I sell assets. I sell them because I like them. I love doing projects on them. But when I realize that that asset has grown, it's given me great returns, it's got great renters in it, whatever it has, but then I have something else over here that is going to be that much better, and it makes sense to sell the other asset, then I've done that before. Or if I've exited a market. Largely for me though, I'm almost always in growth mode. And so if I have something that's an amazing asset, I keep it. I keep it. Oh man, screen moved. Golly. There we go. Chester, Wealth Building Journey. Thanks for posting the link for the course. All-nighter. You invest in the world the way it is, not the way you want it to be. Try to make it what you want, but don't use that as an excuse not to invest. Exactly right. Perfectly said by Hyder, as usual. JNYC, which government program is he referring to? I'm referring to, there are now 5% down loans on 2, 3, and 4 unit multifamily properties. That did not exist before. And now there's also no sustainability test, which meant that you had to be able to cover everything with 75% of the rents. That rule is also gone, because now what that does is, let's say your rents were $6,000, they would credit you basically 45 against it, right? Well, now you get the full credit for the $6,000. It's a game changer because it makes the payment, it makes the income, it gets you to recognize all of the income as opposed to only 75% of the income. And again, there's some nuances to how some other people are doing those loans. So shop for that loan, but that's still something that Fannie and Freddie are going to buy. I think Fannie actually is going to be buying all that debt from all these mortgage brokers. It's a real program. There will be some nuance to it, but be shopping. Always shop your mortgages. And guys, you know that I don't give endorsements, but if I liked working with somebody, I make sure to mention them. If you're looking at DSCR, Steve Dow at Velocity Mortgage, fantastic, great experience with him. If you're looking at just generally a regular mortgage, Matt, the mortgage guy, we still text back and forth every little bit. I've worked with him. He's fantastic to work with. I've given him recommendations. He's honest, and will actually be able to explain fees. And I've worked with plenty of other mortgage brokers that quite frankly suck. Let's see. Rob, there are so few 2, 3s, and 4s in my area. I don't see the program moving the needle. Yeah, in your area in San Diego, that's going to be tough for sure. But in the burbs, look in the burbs. There might be areas of it. But again, that's the other thing too, though, Rob, is that if, it's been a year, 2 years, whatever it is, if you still find nothing, I mean, if you have to invest in that area, then you might be SOL. It might just not work. What are these two little buttons? Oh, interesting. Very cool. Oh, that's cool. New buttons on the dashboard. Wealth Building Journey, about to go back through the course a third time. Here's where the detailed notes come in. The multiple passes through is what separates the average from the good, from the great, from the elite. You're exactly right. So Chester, I'm super pumped that you're going through the course for a third time, but that's exactly it. It's a foundational bill. It's iterative. Every single time you go through it, it adds something more. Every single time you go through it, and now something's become a concept in your mind that you're fully grasped. Then the next note that you take is like, oh man, now I really get this piece. And when you make that stuff your process, you become unstoppable. You become absolutely unstoppable, because then you can quickly evaluate deals. You can quickly understand a deal. You can quickly navigate, and speed does help. It absolutely does, because speed to a no or to a yes. I just want to get my decision done as fast as I possibly can. That's the key. Thanks for the answer, Matt. You're welcome, Dave. All night her. Yeah, Rob, I haven't looked here in a while, but maybe 4 to 5 properties is what I saw. Yeah, guys, thin market. My market's thin too. Last night when we looked at the rent box, we literally saw 7 properties in one of my markets that are for rent. 7. It's good enough for me to build a rent box. It's good enough for me to understand what rent should be, what my base is. Hyder, in general, smart money is the insiders within institutions, and yep, dumb money is mom and pop investors. I don't admit to being dumb. Well, that was kind of the thing with stocks with me that I didn't really like. I couldn't, instantly I was dumb money, and that whole movie, Dumb Money, right? I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it, but I watched that. But let's fast forward to where we are today. Who won? Some dumb money won, but it was mostly still investors. Way it goes. That's fine. But with housing, I saw stupid people win. Stupid people win all the time. Now they've made some mistakes along the way that will make things difficult for them in the future. But this game isn't rigged. With investors, it's not rigged. There's not some big, powerful laws behind the scenes that's, that can, buy 100,000 shares or 1 million shares or 5 million shares or do some back office, shady deal. Just in real estate, it's cleaner than that. Richard Gamino. Hey, good morning, Richard. Good to have you here. Corby, got to bounce. Team lunch before a mission tonight. Have to build the cohesion. I love it. Later, kids. Stay safe, Corby. Godspeed. Angel R. Lumberjack. How much would you typically pay to have an exhaust fan added to a bathroom? No existing fan there. That's a great question. You're probably, so here's what it really depends on. It really depends on the venting piece. The exhaust fan isn't so much the piece. If there isn't one there, and it just depends on where you have to exhaust it out of. If you can exhaust it into the attic, but not freely into the attic, but pipe it into the attic to then pipe it to the outside, so you can then get it into, into like an eave, or you actually then have to port it right straight up through the roof. Those are the things that I would look at. And so that's where the project can really range. I mean, for a decent fan, 150 CFM fan, you're talking probably a couple of $100. You could be 3 to 4 hours of installation. I'd say 3 to 4 hours of installation, pretty straightforward. Because when you get that thing up there, if there's no fan, again, you got to get that thing vented. That's the key. And that's where the price really starts to add up. So, if you're 500 to $600, that's not crazy. That's not crazy. Yeah, that's not crazy. Chris, what does a lease violation do? Charge them a pet? Nope, doesn't. So it only notifies them that they are in violation of the lease and that they must cure. What we say is we cite this part of the lease that says no pets. We say you're in violation of this lease. The notice to cure is you will need to contact me within 48 hours to make arrangements based on the multiple pets that you have. And that can be up to you. That can be, you say to them, I don't want pets. It's a no pet lease. Why would you sign it? Or you can say, we have done some pets in the past, but we have to charge a fee to do that. Those are your two options. Ask for a larger security. Don't ask for a larger security. Nope. Don't kick them out. If you can come to a resolution, or all of the above, what you said, depends how far I want to take it. It really depends on how far you want to take it. But I lease violate, contact me within 48 hours. And then I let them know, guys, this is a no pet building. I need you to have proof of insurance, for the pet that covers the pet. And you can get that right through your renter's policy. I need, based on the dogs, dogs and cats, we've had issues in the past and they're expensive issues to cover. And so we charge a fee because we know it's going to be more wear and tear. That's why we don't do pets. Yep. Chris, I will look into taking the course later today. Chris, would love to have you. All that stuff is in there. And if you do the boot camp, people join the boot camp. You can join the boot camp right when you sign up, and then you take the remaining classes in that boot camp, and then you can finish the boot camp in the other classes because we go in a linear fashion. So we have some people that were just like, I need the boot camp right now. And they jump in and they're in the boot camp right now. And then they take classes, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 9, 10, 11, 12. And then in the next one, they do 1 through 8. So that's kind of how it goes. That's the way we do it for folks. That way, if they need to jump in, because it's not just the stuff in the course I cover, I actually will answer additional questions, and it's a small group. It's only 15 people. We limit it. Last night, I think we had 14. So we limit it to 15 to 18. We've gone up to 18 a couple times. But we limit it because I want to make sure that in the couple of hours that I get to spend with you guys, that everybody gets the chance to ask questions and everybody gets their questions answered. Because on here, sometimes I can go into depth, but not all the time. There, I can go into as much depth as you want. And you get to hear other investors answer. It's a phenomenal mastermind. Hey, good morning, sir. Good to have you here. BuzzTune, believe my dad watches the crash channels. Yep, tried to explain the limited amount I know, but couldn't change his mind. If I followed his advice to wait, the numbers would have been, sorry, I gotta scroll, would have been a point higher. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, does your dad have the financial life that you want? My dad doesn't have the financial life I want. So I had to do it differently. And when I have to do something differently, something that people around me don't know, then I go and find the people that do know it and I try and understand. I try and understand that stuff. It's people so often, do you want to be watching a bunch of crash bros that don't own their own properties? Or maybe their wife makes the majority of the money in their family? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they're not paying their bills with their income. They're paying their bills with their wife's income. And they're like, well, they do the YouTube adventure, making $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 in a month. Oh, gross. Gross. I've talked to a number of highly functioning YouTubers, like over 500,000 subscribers. And a number of them get exhausted with the amount of content that they have to put out. In the beginning, it's fun, right? In the beginning, it's fun. But after 3 years, 4 years, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And for me, I do this as much as I want to. I love to spend time with people on Sundays, so I do that. During the week, my weeks are too crazy busy. I can't. So we spend 90 minutes to 2 hours together today. We'll talk about stuff. People will find out, they'll take the course. They'll be like, yeah, this is something I got to do because I'm going to make me better. It just does. It will. It will. Nice. Definitely would like to see more on that lead series. Yeah, the lead series is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to literally take you through from literally the point of notification all the way to the project's finished. I'm literally waiting for the project to be finished to start filming that. Because we're going to go through absolutely everything. I'm going to take you through the units. I'm going to show you the befores. I'm going to show you the afters. I'm going to show you all the different correspondence that we got through. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. But if you ever get hit with a lead order, you will know exactly how the process works. If you don't ever get hit with one, you can do everything you possibly can to avoid it, which this lead project will cost me $80,000. If I can save you 80 grand, I guarantee it's like insurance, right? My course is like insurance. You take it, you watch it, you learn it, you understand it. It will likely save you from a big, huge oopsie. BuzzTune, all the Crash Bros preach is to wait. They have since 2008. Very true. Invest a wealth, or building journey. Sorry. Invest when it makes sense. Run your numbers, trust your numbers, mitigate unnecessary risks, and take action. So true. So true. Love that comment. Wealth building journey, says Hyder. Totally agree. Totally agree. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Jerneil. I believe you and your wife just had a baby. Congratulations. Excited to see you at the ORAT Vegas event. I'm excited to see all you guys too. I'm looking forward to it. In fact, Millennial Mike and I last night were just talking about, was it last night? No, it's Friday night. Friday night, we were talking about travel arrangements and stuff like that. So yeah. Yep. And Dion too. Actually, I haven't talked to Dion in I feel awful. I haven't talked to him in a week. Yeah, it's been crazy. Crazy. Key. Yes, Matt, the mortgage is a great team to work with. I closed mine with his team. There you go. Another great endorsement. Matt, the mortgage guy. Like I said, I can't say enough great things about him. He's been fantastic. Keith Hager, real estate is tangible. It's very true. It is a physical asset. Wealth building journey. Everyone needs to hear what Matt said again. Iterative review is what helps make sure concepts stick and how to get more out of it. And you've learned with the aha moments. It's exactly right. Yep. It's basically repetition, but it's unreal what you gain on each pass through. It's so true. there's so much there, right? And I get it. I watch stuff like that. I watch stuff like my course, and it's like, okay, cool. I got a couple nuggets out of it. Cool. And then I watch it again. I'm like, oh man. Or 6 months later in my journey, or 3 months later in my journey, or after I just bought something, or I just had a problem come up in my property. Where was that covered? And in the boot camp, we actually index everything. So in a boot camp, when you do a boot camp, you get access not only to the boot camp live, but then also the recordeds. And the recordings actually index everything and say, at minute this, we talked about this. So when you take notes and stuff, you can actually refer right back to it. It's pretty freaking awesome. We haven't seen that, come to mention it. We haven't seen Mike in boot camp in a little bit. Mike, where are you, buddy? What if the pet is a service dog? Service dogs are different. Service dogs are different. So like I said, if they get an ESA document, which is an emergency support animal, that is different than a service dog. A service dog is required to be trained. An ESA does not require training. So an ESA, they can fill out a form, you know, any doctor will sign off, like it's kind of crap. And that's going to get legislated pretty soon too, because people are getting away with murder to get whatever pet they want. And if, quite frankly, the amount of people that have pets, and what they don't understand is that most states only allow for one ESA, emotional support animal. And a lot of people, when they apply, they say, I have a service animal. No, you don't. No, you don't. Service animal is kind of like it is in Canada. In Canada, if you are an architect, you have that certification. You can't be a systems architect. You have to be an architect. And same with engineer. When you say engineer, you have a special ring. When it says engineer in Canada, you're an engineer. And so when we look at like pre-sales engineers is what we call them a lot of times in the States, can't go with that title in Canada. It's illegal because you aren't an engineer. So it's much like that here, where ESAs are called service animals. They are not service animals. They are not. They couldn't be further from it. They are not trained. They are not specialized. They are there emotionally, supportively. That's it. No training, no nothing. So if you have a service animal, completely different. But people will use the term interchangeably, and they're incorrect. They're incorrect. An ESA and a service animal are two completely different things. It's important, though. I'm glad that Key mentioned that. You can't deny either. With a service animal, they might need multiple service animals. Usually they don't, but they might. But with an ESA, in most states, you can't deny one, or you can't deny one, but you can deny a second in most states. We'll look at those local laws. Robert Farinelli, hey, what's up, Robert? Looks like I missed getting offended. Damn, I know. You just have to rewatch the beginning. It was quite offensive. I guarantee people will be there will be gnashing of teeth and crying in the streets. Hey, Mark Oshiro, good to see you. Aloha from Hawaii. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are on the mend. Robert Farinelli, question on a deal I'm looking at. Duplex is 2 bed, 2 bath each side, but the third floor that isn't counted is either in either unit, has 5 bedrooms, a functional bathroom, and a 64 square foot storage area. Okay. How do I figure out the viability of the third unit or adding a third floor? You're better off adding a third floor, not adding a unit. Single family zoning, no unrelated persons ordinance, 8 parking spaces would need. So that's a big, long question. That would take me a half hour to answer. Yeah, that would take me a half hour to answer that. I could, but that'd be a long time. There's a million different ways to skin that cat for sure. Josh Coster, do you have more confidence in your rent box when there aren't a lot of rentals listed? I think there would be, since there's low supply. Yes, you're exactly right, Josh. Yep, you're exactly right. I have confidence if there's 1 or 2 units listed. Why? And then I will start talking to other agents. I'll talk to other investors, right? Because that could be a sign that they don't want a rental market where you are. The other thing I would do too is I would look at like a site like AirDNA. I would look at a site like that to see, is this really just an area where there's a bunch of short-term rentals, or there really truly no rentals? Yeah. Good call. Good call. BuzzTune, thanks. Wealth Building Journey. Definitely need to go through Matt's course again. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you have it. You have access to it over and over and over again, over and over and over again. It's so unbelievably worth it. It really, really is. I've done that with courses I go through. Wealth Building Journey. Dion had a live last night. Oh, I missed it. Well, I was teaching mine. I was teaching my course. Speaking of which, Dion went through a video of someone, likely a new investor, saying they're using cash flow for a unit turn. First thought, cash flow is after all expenses. So, I mean, the cash flow, it depends. Like if you're cash flowing still on the building, then you could use that, money to fix up the other one. It really depends on how they're using the terms. I didn't get a chance to watch because I was teaching. Otherwise, I would have watched. So it really depends. It really depends. It could be just a terminology thing. Key, thanks for the explanation. You're very welcome. Ironwood Workman, dang, you're late. Yeah, no kidding, Ironwood. What the hell? Hello, everyone. Dion, talk financial freedom. What's up, buddy? Every time you hit the like button, an angel gets its wings. That's a true story. Keith Hager. Sorry, Keith. I had seen it out of the corner of my eye and then it rolled up past it. Biggest expense was getting rid of bed bugs from a renter. What was that expense? Because I've done it before. So what's really funny is that in 2018, 19, 18, 18 years, in 18 years, I'd never had bed bugs, cockroaches, or rats in 18 years. And in the last 4 years, I've had bed bugs twice, cockroaches once, twice, and rats 5 times. Rats 5 times. And in every single case with the rats, it was trash. Trash being put in the basement, trash being put on a 3-season porch, trash not being properly disposed of, food being left out. Listen, I've got young kids. I get that food gets left out, but you know what my wife and I do every single night before we go to bed? We clean up the house because we're not pigs. We clean up the trash. We either vacuum or we sweep or we something. We get it into a bag and then get it into a bucket. What most people don't know is those cheap buckets that you can buy in most big box stores. Guess what? Rats can eat through those. So you either want a steel bucket or you want the heavy gauge stuff, the really heavy gauge stuff. How much? Yeah. Hager, how much was that? I'd love to know. Oh man. I got to admit my butt hurts because I spent five hours driving to Montreal and then 5 hours driving home. And I was there for 18 hours worth of meetings and 6 hours worth of sleep. Man, that car I drove home in. Oh, and it was a nice enough car. Just the seats were brutal. Wealth Building Journey. We have to emphasize that there are 2 types of expenses: cash out expenses, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and non-cash out expenses. Yep. Repairs, maintenance, vacancy, CapEx, and property management that all investors must know and understand. Anything short should set the landlord up to be a slumlord. So yeah, I think that you always want to maintain your units. That's why rent and managing the rent box and how you do that is really quite imperative. It really is very, very important that you manage that and manage that properly. And take care of, things as they come up. What's really funny is, so we bought a house. I will actually show it on my Instagram, probably tonight. We bought a house and last year we had issues with that cold snap. We had frozen pipes. We had some issues. And so, so we looked at it. We got a thermal camera. When we got the thermal camera, we saw that particular addition on the house, it was like an off jut addition, had no insulation in the walls. Unbelievable. No insulation whatsoever. Zero. And so we basically, when we did that, it was easier because of where everything was on the inside of the house. It was easier on the outside of the house. We popped all the clapboard off. We popped the barn board sheets that were on there that are air porous. And we put Roxol all throughout the wall. You'll see that in the pictures. Then new plywood on the walls. And then, vapor barrier, and then clapboard back on, or vapor barrier, then the plywood. So, and then vapor barrier. Yeah, Tyvek was on the outside. Trying to remember what I saw. But the key here is that it's all buttoned up with insulation. That's not ever going to freeze again. We're never going to have an issue again. So when you find something, when you have a freeze issue, fix it the right way so you never have to go back again. That's what I really pride ourselves on, is that we don't go back for the same problem at the same property over and over and over again, because sometimes it will cost. I mean, that was like a $2,000. $2,000 is what that cost. Now, we could have done a bunch of temporary fixes. $2,000 is what that cost to do it, but we did it. We did it right. And now we're not going to have to worry this year. Keith Hager, taking down all the blinds, removing beds, heating the interior of the house to 140 degrees, 2,400. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep, that sounds about right. So for those of you who are wondering, there's really two ways that you can treat bed bugs. One is you can actually spray. Sometimes that works. Usually it doesn't. But sometimes that works, especially when there's not an infestation. The other interesting thing too is that depending on where they are the worst is likely where they started. Most exterminators will tell you that. Some won't. And so you have to ask and say, could you put in your report, is it fair to say that there were a lot more in one unit than there were another? Would you be able to mention that in your report? And then they will say, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. They don't think about that. So why do I do that? Why do I do that? Because if it started with one person, they're going to pay for it. They brought it into the house. They started the problem, right? They were the issue. So that's how you back bill. That's how you then send them a lease violation, because there's usually something about cleanliness or blah, blah, blah. And then you say, this bill is yours. Now I pay the contractor because I need it done and I want it done right. But then I can back charge the tenant. They caused it. I don't do it if the guy says, really hard to say where they came in. Really hard to say. If he says that, I'm just like, well, that's the way the rock flops. That's the way it goes. That's the way the mop flops. However, in almost every case, not in all, but in almost every case, he's like, no, Matt, this one 20 times worse than the other unit. This was absolutely the cause. This was the problem. And so gone. And that then I pay him, and then we go after the tenant. We will have one of those that we're following up on that now. Buzztune, main drain stack in the center of the basement was leaking. Okay. Seller repair it. Could you explain this? Wanted to understand more. That's a great question. I would absolutely 1000%. I would be having that thing scoped. You got to have it scoped. And the way that you want to have it scoped is you start at the top of the stack. So if you have a first floor and a second floor unit, you pull the toilet on the second floor and you get that thing down in there. And then you start looking to see where everything is. And then there's usually a clean out in that base and in the basement as well. And so then you can access it that way. But I want to pull a toilet and I want that camera going down that line. That's what I want, because I want to see, because it could be a cast iron pipe that cracked. Possible, it happens. A lot of times, or sometimes, those hangers that hold them, those hangers will snap. When those hangers snap or they bend or something like that, then all of that weight is there. And it's not the same strong cast iron pipe it used to be. And so it can create a fracture. Sometimes they break and literally like an entire piece falls off. Like we've legit seen that with a pipe. We've seen like an entire piece just break off. That's like, okay, now what do we need to do? Well, we need to make sure that there's no water being used, make sure it's properly propped up, but then we're going to section out that pipe and we're going to put in Fernco's, which is like a big, huge rubber piece, usually about 4 inches thick, with a bunch of screws on it, or a bunch of bands on it with tightening screws. You get that on the top piece where you then connect another section. Then you do it on the bottom piece where you connect another section. And now you can actually replace. And now that stack has had a piece replaced. And you always go bigger. You know, if the crack is 6 inches long, I'll usually do a foot on each side of it, you know, or whatever I can, whatever I have space to do. So you always, always, always scope lines. There's somebody that watches this. There's somebody that watches this here, and they had a cracked line. They're getting a $12,000 quote to repair it. They'd taken my course. They would have known, they would have known that going into their deal, and it would have saved them 12,000 bucks. BuzzTune, waistline is ABS plastic pipe. Yep. So then in that particular case, if it's not cast iron and they had to replace a piece, why? I want it scoped and cambered. I want to know what's going on there. If it's ABS plastic, it was likely done more recently. If it was done more recently, then it could be bad craftsmanship. It could mean, that they didn't put it out in the right tilt. It could mean that a tenant is flushing things they shouldn't be flushing, sanitary wipes. They might be flushing a bunch of, flushable wipes that aren't flushable. I'm waiting for there to be a class action lawsuit for landlords suing the flushable wipe industry. They're septic safe, don't you know? No, I don't know. Rock sole, not rock salt. What does he mean by rock board or rock wool? Rock wool. So it's Rock Sole. Rock Sole is a brand. So all hot tubs are not jacuzzis, but all jacuzzis are hot tubs. It's like that. Not all rock wool is Rock Sole, but Rock Sole is all rock wool. Yep. We started using a newer product, so we still use Rock Sole. But the big box stores don't do that. The big box stores usually, they started carrying, Owens Corning started coming out with something, and that has not only an insular quality, but also a sound deadening quality. We tried it out on a couple projects. We're going to see how good the sound deadening is. Insulation was good. It was fine. When we put that stuff up, we could literally heat the room with a lighter. Wealth building journey. I cannot emphasize enough how important that rent box is. It's that important for understanding your market. Yep. I'm going back through the towns in my market with the rent box. That's awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with you. The rent box is magic. It really is. It's the biggest differentiator from a good investor to a great investor. That will be your biggest differentiator. That will have you buying deals, more deals in a bad market than all of your competition. And I believe that because the rent box really helps you best understand the rents. And that's what the driver is. It's not what your rate is and not what you bought it for. It's how much money can this thing make? And we went through all that last night. Here's all the phone calls you need to make. Here's all the things you need to look at. Here's all the steps in the process. That's what it all is. Not all brandy is cognac, but all cognac is brandy. Clintus, thank you for the ad. Welcome to the channel. And an important note with brandy and cognac. Ironwood Workman at Wealth Building Journey. Roxel is Rockwall. Yep, just a brand. Got it. Yep, exactly. Roxel is just a brand. That's correct. But Roxel was the first. Roxel was the first. And so I've been using Roxel for 10 or 12 years, to the point where when I found the product, I had to special order it at the lumberyard every single time. So now there's copycats coming along. Owens Corning obviously is a great company, right? They know how to make great insulation. You couldn't pay me to put that white crap or that pink crap in one of my buildings. You couldn't pay me. That stuff is literally the nicest rat and mouse hotel you can find. They eat in there, they shit in there, they pee in there. They love to live in that stuff. They don't do that in Roxel. Not even once have I ever found something that we opened up where a rat or a mouse was living in it. Never. Can't chew it. Can't chew it. I love it. BuzzTune, thanks for the $2. Damn, on another level. Thanks, Matt. You're always welcome. You're always welcome. That's the kind of stuff, honestly, BuzzTune, that's the kind of stuff we cover in the Lumberjack Landlord Bootcamp. So that boot camp, we will cut, we could spend a half an hour sometimes on some topic that somebody brought up, because if they brought it up, it makes sense to teach it right then in that moment. So that's what we do. We teach it. Wealth building journey. Okay, I misheard him. Thank you. All good. You guys are good. Yeah, rock salt. Yep. Matt also explains our values. Yes, exactly. Thumbs up. Thank you, Clintus. Yeah, rock wool product. Rock wool is also a brand. But it's also what it is. So yeah. Watch the video. I'm a goof. I'm a total nerd. I'm a product nerd. So I watch the videos on how they make that stuff. It's pretty cool. It's pretty slick stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But we love putting that stuff in, honestly. In fact, look at my Instagram. I posted something maybe 2-3 weeks ago where we had rock wooled the entire exterior wall, and we safe and sound all the interior walls. We did all that work. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. But I know that with the special kind of sheetrock that we use, the quiet rock, which is basically it's sheetrock that is 1/2 inch membrane, another 1/2 inch. So it's 1 inch thick. You can buy it 1 inch thick. You can also buy it 3/4 of an inch thick, but usually buy the inch thick stuff. Weighs a ton, super expensive, but you can't hear your neighbors. And that's what keeps tenants living there. We do it, and we do a high-end job, and they stay. The other thing too is that the difference in price on the overall job, I just did a sheetrock job. It's like $35,000. Roxul is ROXUL. Roxul. Let me just double check it. Pretty sure it's Roxul. Yeah, ROXUL. That's the brand. Yep. Roxul Rockwool. They also have the comfort board stuff, which is kind of cool. They're like harder bats, if you will. But yeah, man, I love that stuff. Love it, love it. And you can buy it. You can buy R15, 19, 21, 23, 30, 38. I think it's pretty impressive. Yeah, Roxul. May I link a fantastic amortization calculator? Absolutely, you can. It might not let you, though. You can, I don't mind. Here, try this. Oh, hopefully I didn't just screw that up. That should work. There we go. Keith, I don't know if that added you. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I'll try this again. Hold on. It's not letting me do it. So difficult. Dear heavens. Okay. All right. Didn't really let me do it. So my bad. Okay. Quintus, what is the name of the sheetrock that you use that blocks out sound? It's called Quiet Rock. I think I even have some. Hold on a second. I think I have some right here. I know, right? That's not it. Hold on. No, that's not it. I thought I had a piece. I know I had a piece. I know. Oh, I found it. Hold on. Quiet Rock. You guys see this little edge right here? This little edge right here. So that is the panel that there is in between. So that little membrane. So this is the 3/4 stuff with that little membrane in between there. Yeah, that's it. That is Quiet Rock. And it's expensive, but it's like stacking. It's like stacking 8 pieces of sheetrock on top of each other. It's that good. 8 half-inch pieces. It's that good. Yep, it's that good. This stuff is the best. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. Quiet Rock. Wealth building journey. I had to make an amortization calendar via Excel way back during intermediate accounting. I can share it with everybody. Awesome. Good stuff. Is it quiet when people poop? Yep, it is. Good question, Josh. It's quiet all the time, no matter what. We've had rambunctious children. We've had rambunctious tenants where they make too much noise while enjoying themselves with each other. And it's been this stuff. When we redo a place, we use Quiet Rock on all what are called all party walls. A party wall is just a shared wall. So all shared walls get Quiet Rock. Wealth building journey. If you can make Keith Hager a moderator, if you can make him a moderator, I don't mind if he wants to post that. I just don't have I tried it and it wouldn't let me do it live, so not sure what the deal is. I'm a workman. This good info. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, I did a lot of building on the West Coast and I'm still learning as always. Cities in Montana do not have a rat mice problem, just the rural homes. Yeah, right. Because it's like you get those field mice and in that change of season, holy cow, they absolutely just jump into these houses. And if you give them the ability to get in, they'll get in. Almost always they can find a spot and then you just have to look at what that spot is and try and then plug it up. But when you plug it up, that you want to use, I always put steel wool in there and then I'll use great stuff on top of that because they can't chew through the steel wool. They can chew through just the great stuff, but use the high density, like the high density spray foam, which is like Loctite. That's a higher density, more close to closed cell. It's pretty good stuff. Wow, that sheet rock looks so cool. Thank you. Do they normally sell at Home Depot and Lowe's? They do not. You have to special order it. I would actually do yourself a favor and order it through a lumberyard or order it through a sheetrock supply company. That's the best place to get that stuff because Home Depot and Lowe's can get anything, but the premium that they can charge for that stuff is crazy. It's expensive. You know, if a sheetrock piece is, 15 bucks a sheet, this stuff probably runs about 80, 70 or 80, but it's amazing. It's amazing. It's about 5 times the price. Usually. Josh Coster. Nope, already got that one. Wealth building journey, Keith Hager, or tell me All-Nighter Hider, Dividend Dave, Dion, Millennial Mike, what to Google. We can look it up and post the link there. Cool. I use Matt the Mortgage Guy's calculator. Very good. That works too. He's got a good calculator. Wealth building journey. A quick question on flooring. Are you still using American Flooring Corporation for LVP? No, they went out of business. I'm building out my unit template, like you mentioned, and of course, perfect. So the national chain. So I always look for national change for you guys, because that way, if I solve the problem, I don't solve it just for myself. I solve it for others. I have not found there's the normal national chain LL, right? And they're decent and you can have a trust and you can go in and you can open up an account as a landlord contractor rehabber. And you can save you about 10%. So that's good, right? 10% is better than nothing. But I actually get a better deal from my local, not local. There's a big supply house out of Boston. And I buy it there. And I pay like for a product that retails at about $325 a square foot. I buy it at $249 a square foot. And then I pay for delivery. But when I'm getting it delivered, I'm usually getting 2,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet delivered, and we just stock it. That's usually what we do. Laura San Diego. I want to sell my primary house in a year. How can I know if how can I know if you upgrade or sell it as is and maybe give some credit to the buyer? It is in a high demand area, hardly no supply. So right now there's hardly no supply. Will there be in a year? Who knows? Tough to, well, tough to tell the future. My view of it, Laura, is you make upgrades that are design agnostic. What I mean by that is don't go through the house painting everything seafoam green. You might love it. Most buyers will likely hate it. What I usually do is that's where it's like I look at the list of improvements that I make. I change out the lights to the pancake lights. I change out to those. Those are $8 a piece. The link still works on the video that I did. But those lights are awesome. They're a complete difference maker. And when you go through your house, if you find the right electrician, get 3 people to bid on it. And you say, listen, I provide all the lights are going to be there for you. The only thing that I need is for you guys to show up and do the labor. In that case, more often than not, you can get that job done 4 or 5 rooms. You can get that job done in a day or 2. So you're looking at $100 an hour times 8 times 2. So $1,600 top. But again, get it quoted out. But that's a major difference, right? It's going from, a boob light, right? Or going from some of these, older, more dated light fixtures, putting it up in the ceiling, getting it out of the space. Those are something that's something that really is a difference maker. Upgrading all your outlets. That's something that everybody will appreciate. Oh, it looks new. Oh, it's tamper resistance. Screwless plates instead of buying the box, and you can do the screwless plates yourselves in most cases if you feel comfortable. But screwless plates, the way that you actually get them onto the wall and then you mount a cover plate on there that you can't see the screws. It's just another high-end finish. And again, these are things that, you do lights, you do outlets, where they're consistent and they're nice looking, and then switches and dimmer switches and things like that. You can do a lot of that stuff for a couple $1,000. And those are big difference makers, depending on what your kitchen looks like. We're doing kitchens now, and we've had a number of people do kitchens and they're just like, holy cow, like the difference that it makes. And because for people in the course or in the Lumberjack Landlord Bootcamp course, we actually do the kitchens at wholesale. I can tell you that we looked at, we were working with somebody this week and they said, hey, we're getting quotes for $3,500 to $4,000 a kitchen. We're going to beat that by about, we're going to beat that by probably 25 to 35% price wise. And they were keeping that in mind and then they were going to make up a bunch of money on the installing side. Right. So that's kind of how it rolls. So if you're already in that high demand area, it's doing the things that everybody would want. Nobody wants lights hanging down to their rubs. Nobody wants old toggle switches, the nice big flat panel switches, outlets, but those are all the little things that you can do that can really make a difference. If you have old and tired carpet, retire it, put in some nice LVP. Those are the little things that you can do that can really be difference makers for when you're going to sell the house. Because if you have a bunch of old tired carpet, yeah, they're going to be looking, it's not going to show well. It's not going to show nearly as well. Hey, Ned Talks. What's up, everybody? What's up, Ned? BuzzTune, under a new bill, rental properties will now be regulated in my market. Apply for rental permit annually and inspect once every 3 years. How to best prepare for this? BuzzTune, that is socialism at its finest. Here's what I can tell you. We cover a lot of that stuff in the course. I think you are in the course, check it out in there. But the best way to prep for that is recognize that they're going to have inspectors going through there. Manchester, New Hampshire was like that. And that's why I got out of that market. Every 3 years, a certificate of compliance or certificate of occupancy that you had to apply for. And that was a nightmare. Every single time they came through, it was like, oh, 3,000 here, 2,000 there, 4,000 there. It's their job to find stuff that they have to write you up for, that you then you have like 90 days to get those things taken care of. I had one time where the guy actually wrote it up on siding. He's like, yeah, there's siding issues. You just need to reside the whole place. I was like, isn't that nice of you spending all my money? I couldn't get out of it. Couldn't get out of it. Cost me, I don't know, 19,000 bucks to side the place. Killed me. Killed me. Did not have the 19,000 bucks. But yeah, documenting your unit, like what Chester said, wealth building journey, documenting your unit's critical. You know, really understand everything that you need to know in your unit. You know, look at even, I'm not sure. I was just thinking this. I'm not sure if I put smoke detectors on there. I might have, but those smokes and carbons, smoke carbon combos, they need to be changed out every 10 years. Got to do that. Yep. Got to do that. Wealth building journey, based on where the Fed funds rate is most likely going to be, unless something breaks and the Fed has to lower its prime rates are probably going to stay high through 2025, maybe 2026. Yeah, I think so. I think the only thing that would obviously ever change that is if we start to see some real drag in the economy. That's what would happen. That's what would happen. Yep. Yep. When you start seeing a struggling economy, government starts to acquiesce. So what do they start to do? They start to create more programs, and they start to look at it and say, you know what? Hiring is finally slowed down, or really seeing strain. Their claim was, we want to break the housing market. Well, in their way, 8% debt. It's expensive. It's expensive. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff that can happen. That's the kind of stuff that can happen. So yeah, they are. Smokes and CO's unit are part of the documentation. Man, I'm good. Thank God. Because that's another thing. We just did that in one unit. We just went through. And so the other thing too is, for us, we'll buy them in bulk. When we see that they go on sale, or some vendor on, you know, eBay or Amazon or big box store or whatever, blah, 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 right? What we'll actually do is we'll go, yeah, sure, we'll buy 30 of those. Now, it might take me 2 years to go through the 30, but if I'm getting them for half price, like Honeywell just got tossed out of Honeywell filters, no longer available in Home Depot, largely speaking. Some, but not all. I just bought 30 filters, 40 filters, because we have heat systems that use them. They were normally $18.97. I bought them for $5. So I bought a bunch of them. Drastically lowers my cost. You know, it's stuff like that. Klein tools are now leaving Home Depot and going to Lowe's. Klein tools. I bought a bunch of nice electrical tools for 50 and 60 and 70% off. Now, I didn't buy something I'll never use. That doesn't make any sense, but I bought stuff that are kind of wear items. But it's like, yeah, you know what? It's good to have another backpack that's full of all that stuff. That way we can handle it as it comes up. Mac Bittner. What's up, Bittner? Oh, sorry. Ironwood Workman, you first. What kind of drywall finish do you like? I have used smooth flat finish. Yes, because it's easy to clean and paint. Yep. But repairs, good looking repairs, seem to take more time. Yes, they take more time. It's much more what the standard is in the area. As you guys know, in like Las Vegas, right? They don't have a smooth finish there. I usually go for a 3 or 4 grade finish in my sheetrock jobs. And that's what we go towards. And that's a smooth finish. Here, a textured wall is not really a thing. In Vegas, it's a big thing. But when people would walk in from there, if they're from another area, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. Or they're just like, why is this texture on the wall? Because sometimes the texture does make it easier to repair, but then you have to retexture it. But that's okay, because again, it usually makes it easier to repair and hide maybe a less than perfect job. When you're smooth, it's got to be smooth. So we always use smooth here because that's the standard. And most of the people around here, believe it or not, doing a texture job here is more expensive than a flat job. Out in the West Coast, it's the opposite. A textured job's much less expensive because it's a lower skill. Harry Hanover, great session last night, Matt. All the best. Thanks, Harry. I appreciate that. It was a great session. It was a long session, but it was awesome. Matt Bittner, rates could come down if there's a massive inflow to treasuries. Yep. If the Israel situation creates a panic. Absolutely could be. Yep. Absolutely could be. And see, here's the thing. While that stuff matters to me, I'm not dismissive of it. It doesn't dictate my investment strategy. It's just understanding that whatever the number is, wherever it is, whatever's going on, right? I just have to look at the deal and evaluate the deal compared to the other deals that I'm looking at. And if it's A, better than the other ones, right? And B, it fits my my investment profile, well, then that's a deal that I do. Really that simple. Hyder, I did a smooth wall in my tiny house and a very eccentric paint job. Awesome. That's cool. Ned talks. I always leave low hanging fruit for inspectors. Yes, very smart. Easiest example in New Orleans is shower rods. They need 3 boxes to check, and that one fits temporarily in my truck. Well done. Good job. Yay, Section 8. So true. It's so true. So what Ned's talking about there is having some of the small stuff not done. So that's where their focus is, because they feel like they have to pick something on every unit. And I can tell you, in all honesty, I have never, ever, ever had one pass the first time through ever. Never, ever, 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 never. And it's always something trivial or stupid. It just is. It's always something trivial or stupid. So it's just never happened. Hey, Matt, I just sent the link to your email. Thanks, Keith. Cool. I'll post that in the video. I will get that posted. Very good. Laura, thanks so much for the super chat. Thanks, Matt. You're welcome. Look at the, but yeah, look at that video. Little things like that, those make a difference. When people walk through a house, they're like, they're the old, ugly, like snake looking faces. You know, the divoted duplex outlets, the crappy screw plates, like you're not setting yourself above the rest in quality. And it's so small, you know, it's so small. I mean, really negotiate the price hard, because this is really easy electrical work. It's very easy stuff. You know, for us, we actually would do, in almost all of our properties, we would do all the plates, because we would take the time to make sure they're level and not look catawampus, real word. But we would actually fix them and make sure that they looked good, and they were level. And so that was something I cared about. My wife, Ashley, she's really good at it, really good. And no, she's not for hire. Laura Samaniego, thanks, Matt. It has upgraded tile throughout the entire house. Pancake lights done. Love it. I want to do the electrical plate with the USB you mentioned. Very smart. Yeah. What I would do, Laura, is I would just add a couple of those. You know, I would add one like in the kitchen, but I would add one that has the high speed charging, not the low speed charging. So I would look at one of those low speed charging or high speed charging ones. But I would just put a couple of those in, but I do recommend those. So think about where you spend your time. You spend your time in the kitchen. You spend your time in your bedroom. So I would put one near a nightstand, right? I would do that. And that way you're not getting crazy, because those outlets, the high charge ones, they can be 30, 40 bucks. I look for them on eBay. But they can be 30, 40 bucks. But when you get those, they're 30 or 40 bucks. And to swap that on an install, I would do it. My wife would do it. You can hire an electrician to do it, and they'll charge you time, but they can usually change one, you know, pretty quick. Just ask them, hey, I have 20 outlets that I would want to change. Do you guys have a flat rate that you charge to swap out outlets? Because most people will swap out their own outlets. They'll shut the power off to the house. Maybe if it's properly, you know, done, maybe if it's properly done, you can actually, whatchamacallit, labeled. If it's properly labeled, you can then actually, you know, shut off just that room, and then you can do that room. So we used to do that all the time, change out that stuff, because it just, yes, we're a third as fast as an electrician, but we're pretty much free. We can go do it together, sit there, change a bunch out, no big deal, and not get a big bill for an electrician. Wealth building journey at Matt Bittner. I see it as a skirmish that is going to intensify for a month or two. Could be. Yep. Then get a protracted impasse, likely. My guess is that there's marginal impact on rates because of regional localization. Quite possible. Yep. It's always one of those developing situations. Always wait and see what happens. Well, guys, it's a fantastic week, as it always is. I appreciate getting able to hang out with you guys for 90 minutes after my 3-hour marathon last night with my amazing students in the course. I'm going to call it a day here today. But again, the thing that I would leave you with is, it's offensive. I felt like poking in the chest of the crash bros, frankly, just because they're wrong and they remain wrong. While there are market adjustments, if real estate investing is where you want to be and what you want to do, soak up a bunch of knowledge, really understand what you're looking at, really understand what you're looking for. And frankly, put yourself in a position to be able to make a decision based on something you know, not just a feeling. Or Seminary, remember you mentioned a TV room, kitchen, bathroom. Yeah. Yep. Kitchen, bathroom. Yes. Dion, talk financial freedom. Have a week full of awesome. You too, pal. I'll talk to you soon. I'll text you. BuzzTune. Thanks everyone. Smash that like button. Thank you, Keith Hager. 8% will not break the housing market. 16 did not break it in the 1980s. People always need a place to live, but it sure makes them harder to buy for lower income people. It does. That's very true. Wealth building journey. Thank you very much. Frank and Cheris. Thanks again. Guys, have a fantastic week. As I always say, we try and create great content for you. Please make sure you hit that like button on your way out, and hope you guys have a fantastic week. Take care, everybody.